Alright folks, my name is Freyn and today I'm going to be going over and analysing some gameplay I have from 5.7 Germany. It's back before the patch. I was doing a lot of grinding on my alt count at that point, trying to see how many of the 4 German vehicles that were being removed I could get access to before the patch hit. Did actually end up with all 4 of them, so a good result overall there. But it meant I played a hell of a lot of German 5.7 as I really like the Tigers and I preferred to use those for unlocking the rest of the tier 4 stuff instead of playing the Tiger 2s, which I generally don't actually get as good a performance from. So today we are on Normandy. It's single cap conquest. We're still very early in the game, as you can see. I've only just started leaving spawn, but the enemy's already capping the A point. That's because at this tier, America has got a lot of fast vehicles. They've got things like the Chaffee, the M18, and Britain has got a few things as well, such as you could bring an up-tiered Cromwell and you would be able to make it down to that cap very quickly. So the enemy's already got the cap. I'm sat at this seawall here in the hopes that I can catch anything else off that might be headed towards the A cap across the beach. Now, watching back, I did just see a little bit of movement there off towards the sort of the right side of the screen. But at the time, of course, my eyes were fully focused on the cap, so I didn't notice that. You can actually just see the tank there again, just very briefly, sat out on the beach. But I can't stay and linger on that wall. You're not particularly safe, and there has been some activity already down here. So, taking a speculative shot towards the monument there, I thought I saw a glimpse of a tank. Turns out I was right, my eyes weren't playing tricks on me. There was a T-20 there, so get rid of him. It's a good target to get rid of nice and early, that one. T-20 is a very capable machine, especially pre-patch where it had the extra frontal armour, and probably could have actually functioned quite well as a 5.7 vehicle. But moving forwards, just see there's a Firefly sat down there. He's backed off before I could get the shot off, so no luck. You can see there's some shots coming off the A point as well, although they're no danger to me, not in this current position. The Firefly, well, from my perspective at least, is in a solid position. He's going to get a side shot on me if I try and move up, so he's very much restricting my movement. There is an opponent at the monument, and we've got an M18 just below it, so quickly take him out before he notices me. And backing up the whole time just to make sure that Firefly can't take advantage of my reload. And now I'm not quite sure where the enemy is going to come from. We do have a jumbo here just driving out through the open, seemingly oblivious to my position. There's not too much he could have done about me. But yeah, he's a little oblivious. Now I was starting to get concerned at this point. Not about this Firefly. Obviously, there we are, I just managed to take him out. Just arcing the shot over the rock. So it wasn't him that I'm concerned of, it's the fact that we don't really have anyone sort of in the south, around the town area. It's not a great sort of position to be in. We've cleared the monument, we've cleared the majority of the beach, we've got a guy down at the cap. Continuing to take out more and more people as they push up, again seemingly not noticing me. So things are generally going well. But I don't like the fact that we have nothing in the town area, because it means there's a very good chance we're getting flanked. I did make a comment on this at the time while I was playing, saying that typically in this version of the map I find that most of my deaths come from things flanking around through the town, and sure enough, there we go. There is a T-34-85, or 2 T-34-85s right behind me. So, rather prophetic, really, calling out my own demise. I would have turned around and gone to sort of check that way myself, but you could see the sort of the string of targets that just kept appearing in front of me. I had no real opportunity to turn. And I had players behind me, so I had hoped that that may not have happened, or at least I would get some sort of warning. But never mind all that. We're up to 7 kills, and we're back in the Panther F. No particular reason I chose the F over the A. The F does have a slightly better reload, but the A is faster with a faster traversing turret, and actually slightly trollier mantlet. I personally feel trollier mantlets. I ended up actually choosing the F though because, as you can see, it doesn't have FPE yet, and I was particularly wanting to get RP on this vehicle. I wasn't thinking about it in gameplay perspective, which vehicle will allow me to get the best chance of winning. I was just thinking what needs the RP to help me on my grind quest towards the mouse. So just checking, are these T-3485s still here? Someone pinged but I don't see it. So we'll start heading down, see if I can cover the cap because we've lost all the players there. Quickly disable this T-34. Go for the finish. Specifically going for the turret ring as it's got the least chance of bouncing. It shouldn't bounce on the upper plate at that distance, but you never can be certain, and if I have time to make a choice over the shot, ideally I should choose the safe one. I don't always, but in this case I managed to make the right choice. But while that's been going on, they have retaken the cap. There's a couple of things down there, one backing off into the smoke, and a challenger there. No crew damage, unfortunately. And inaccurate, lack of stock modules. You saw the shell slightly went off to the right and hit the rock. Bit unfortunate, but nothing I could do about that. There was nothing I could have done to make that shot better. Well, besides killing him in the first one instead of just getting the breach. So we know there's two tanks down at the cap. One of them is crippled, or at least temporarily crippled, and one of them isn't. Now I could have gone off to the left here. It would have been safer, and going to the right side of the cap does allow me to get shot in the side from anything that's coming back from their spawn. But we've already got a player pushing that side, and I want to sort of try and pincer if I can. Now that to me looks like a chaffee going around the corner. So pushing round, preparing to just quickly shoot and take out a chaffee. He's got very weak armour and very slim chance of penning me. Only to find a jumbo. It's not quite what I expected. But again, he's got the same gun, so slim chance of doing anything to me frontally. Take him out, double check to my side, and start pushing around. When of course there comes the chaffee. So I wasn't wrong, there was a chaffee there. But I never got a clean look at it. It was just a very brief moment. I saw a sort of rounded turret and thought, that looks like a chaffee. But I was never quite sure. I figured I just misidentified it. So I got a bit careless pushing around the corner and just thought, oh no, it must have been the jumbo after all. Had I committed myself to, no, there is a chaffee here, then I may have been a bit more careful, not got myself killed. Anyhow, again, dead and back in the Panther A. This time I'm choosing to go sort of off to the south side of the town. As I said, I don't really like it with this south side of the town being so empty. For some reason I seem to find my team is never the one that pushes this way. So I'm taking it upon myself now to come and do that. And someone else has managed to take the A cap after my push down and sort of assistance. Not complete clearing of the cap, but certainly helped. So right now the cap is less of a priority. We do have it, and as far as I'm aware, it's secure. So I'm just going to try and clear this area of the town and see if I can go for a flank and cut off their reinforcements. Unfortunately, that didn't last very long. I'm assuming that's the chaffee never died and was still lurking around the A cap. So already starting to rethink my plans, start heading off back towards the cap and see if I can get a shot. See, someone just shot at my rear there. Not really paying the most attention on my part. I was quite lucky that he didn't hit me. But again, there we go. Enemies flanking around quite heavily to the south. For whatever reason, I just seem to find it doesn't matter which side of the map I'm on, I always seem to be on the team that ignores the town area. And again, that is partly my fault. I do also ignore it myself. There's the culprit. It's an M36, so quick shot, take him out. He wasn't looking. and we'll return back to trying to get that cap under control. Tiger E just pushed down, taken out. It was an M402, not the Chaffee. Note the name, egg sausages exist. That's the guy who just got killed on the cap. And I'm moving in to try and secure the route back to the cap. Of course, my driving's slightly letting me down. I wasn't there in time to shoot that M19. So on the list of things I could do better, not driving into walls is quite up there. Thankfully, I've still got a shot though. I've managed to get the hull break, that's kill number 12, and one less thing for the Tiger to deal with, although he is still tussling with an enemy heavy on the cap. But there was something I spotted driving across this road as I crossed. Here it comes, that's a Comet. Not particularly great on my part, I rushed the shot. I do think that should have really taken out more than just the one crew, so it wasn't sort of a completely misjudged shot. It would have been better to aim it, of course, and be certain. But it's rare that that should happen. It's as I was saying before with the T-34, sort of, it's a calculated shot going for what I think should be a kill, but really I need to push myself into always taking the secure shot instead. You know, the guaranteed, and not just rushing it with what I think will work. Fortunately, despite having just taken out my bridge and my turret, so assuming this Comet knows where to aim, he isn't doing a very good job of finishing me off. He knows I'm crippled. He could drive around and just shoot me in the side. But instead, he keeps shooting at my cupola. My cupola, which doesn't have any crew members in it, and him, you know, being a tank that's firing AP or APDS, he's not going to get any further damage on the rest of the turret. So this is a very odd choice. There we are, that's him dead as a result. I managed to survive purely due to lack of enemy sort of common sense there. Of course, in theory, I should never have taken the damage in the first place. But, you know, these things happen. Now, while all that was going on, the Tiger is still fighting that jumbo, or was rather, as he's just been killed by a P-8. Fun, 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 that unavoidable bomb. And we've still got someone else down there, had someone else down there, he's just died to the jumbo. So the cap is not secure as I'd hoped. I do need to turn around and go back. Again, showing my back towards the enemy spawn here, not great, but I don't really have a choice. We need that cap. You can see how far behind we are on the tickets. I have to get this secure, especially as I'm the only one on the map right now that's anywhere near it. We've got 1, 2 other players, and they're both just respawning. So I'm the only hope for getting this cap at the moment. I can't afford to just leave it and hope. Still enemies off to our side of the map. I'm actually paying more attention to our side than the enemies because I'm so concerned for what might be lurking around. Now I've got the cap and I can see a ZSU-37 coming, and here again is another mistake. I even said at the time, this is not the most sensible way to do this. I should have gone around down low instead of up over the top. I overestimated my gun depression and thought I would only have to peak to about sort of this height, and then I could just snap off a quick shot and take him out. And in the end I ended up going over the top, getting hit in the side, and I've lost again my breach and my turret. I'm not in a good shape right now. Had I just pushed around to the right here, I would have been perfectly safe. Not that it ended up mattering, of course, because there's the bomb from Egg Sausage again. And we're back now into spawn before the Tiger H. That's his second plane up already, that guy. He's already come in and tried to bomb someone with a B6 and been shot down. Now he's in with a P47, getting a successful bomb on me, bomb on someone else. And as a result, we're going to lose control of the A-cap to that ZSU. So, no guesses where I'm going. It's back in, straight towards the cap. And Really getting a bit frustrated by those planes. It's not necessarily about what they're doing to me, but about how difficult it's going to make it for us to cap. We only have one objective to focus on. We don't have a choice of going somewhere else. Anytime you touch this objective, everyone in the world knows where you are. Bombs are a very big problem for this. Oh, I've just killed the ZSU. There's the guy who took out my breach over there, just vanishing from view for a moment. We've got someone else recapping, and I've decided maybe it's not the best to just go straight onto the cap. There are a lot of planes up, and that means a lot of potential bombs. I'm not going to go there. It's slightly safer in some ways. There's a lot of rocks to hide behind, and I already know there's someone up on that wall over there that could shoot at me. In fact, two things over there on that wall that could shoot at me. But yes, it's safer there in terms of rocks. It's less safe in terms of being an attractive target. I think at the time, this was, as with most of my footage, recorded while streaming, so I was talking to the chat at the time, and I said, I'm just going to stay here and avoid the inevitable PE8. Now, it didn't particularly help me, as once more Egg Sausage is in with another bomb from his P-47, and I'm forced now into using a backup Tiger E. That's spawn number 5. But again, look at the minimap. See, all the other living tanks currently are on the cap. The ticket's getting quite close. We could actually end up pulling this back. We have the objective. But there's that PE8. Suicide bombing both the Panzer 470s that were on the cap. So there goes our whole team. Of course, we could have spread out a bit. We could have not all been on the cap. But it's the only objective. And with tickets that close, you need to hold the objective. If you lose it, chances are that's game over at this stage. So I understand their decision to cluster up like that. Just unfortunately, the PE8 bomb completely ignores all terrain. So even if they'd been sat at complete opposite sides of the cap, it was going to kill them. And there's the decap. So, yay! More bombs causing more problems. There goes the Avenger, trying to make one last ditch effort to rush down, see if I can get this cap. It's coming really right down to the wire here, and I'm having to drive through the open so much. It's a horrible cap position if you lose it. Trying to get back onto it safely is just not really a thing. I've just got to hope there isn't another bomb on its way. I've already avoided the cap once because of the PE8. Which, I did rightly predict, as with those T-34s at the start. There was nothing I could do about that PE8 other than not be present. And fortunately, while I think I made the right decision to not be present, it didn't end up helping me because there was another bomb. But we are just managing to wrestle this back. There goes the IS-1. It's kill number 17. I've retaken the cap. Here comes an M19. Their last hope of trying to decap this. No hull break, but he's got no engine. He's not getting here in time. And that is victory. It took 5 spawns, and it was an absolute nightmare to try and get done. But in spite of all the aircraft constantly killing every tank we had on the cap, I have managed to get a win out of it. Very good game. Very tense game, which of course are the best. I just wish it had gone slightly differently. But there we are then. A few things I could have done better, certainly, as I said. Actually listening to my own little sort of prophecies of how I was going to die. Driving in a slightly less idiotic fashion, not ramming into walls. Maybe I could have paid a bit more attention to the town area at the start. Of course, I did end up cleaning up those 7 kills in my initial spawn, which may have had a much bigger influence than I thought, so perhaps it was still the best course of action for me to do that. But you can't always predict everything, and you can't always account or do something about everything. There's always going to be some things that happen that are outside of your control. But there we go. That is the end of this video, so thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.